Hey guys. Where do I even start? If anyone has talked to me on Discord or seen my Tumblr, then you might already know my opinion on the finale. I don't know how to even start this, so I'm going to read my Tumblr post that I made because I feel like it explains my opinion very, what's the word? Bluntly. But it's also kind of funny. Apparently, people thought it was funny. I think it's funny when I reread it because, yeah. So I'm gonna read it now. But if you want to skip me kind of shit talking and spoilering and being kind of an asshole, then go to this time. Okay, here we go. Just finished the finale of Stranger Things. In parentheses, spoiler warning, ranting, and lots of swearing. Yeah, a lot of swearing. Anyway, what the actual fuck? No, because seriously, what the living fuck did the writers do? The writers, the duffers, Netflix, whoever or whatever had to do with season 5. I'm no professional on who did what in the show. I had hope. I fucking had hope for the damn show to at least have an endgame type shit with the main characters, the three saviors, Elle, Will, Callie, and the help of the other party group members, and Holly and the other little brats, all brats but delightful Derek, working and fighting together in a bloody battle, using Vecna's fears against him, or showing they weren't scared anymore, with the full circle thing, with Elle sacrificing herself, the military dying brutally. I don't care if that's dark, screw the human monsters. I'm talking about the military. The party moving far away, and somewhat living happily ever after, main character deaths, Steve, Vicky, Callie, Mr. Clark, any of these specifically. And what happened? Elle pushing Vecna into a spike, Joyce just chopping his head off while the others watched and had angsty 13-year-old edit-worthy flashbacks to their 5-season-long trauma, Elle pretending to sacrifice herself. Thanks again for the fucking 20th fake main living character death. The fucking military living and just going on with their lives after all the shit they caused. No goddamn consequences for them whatsoever, by the way. Not a single main character or even smaller character death. The party and the older originals mostly staying in Hawkins. This is in all capitals. Will's epilogue boyfriend that wasn't even his boyfriend somehow upset me the most. In parentheses. Great queer representation, having a gay character have a crush on his friend for years, and queer baiting and hinting at the feelings being mutual, only for it not to be, and giving the gay character the most cringy, unoriginal, rushed, and not even private or wholesome coming out scene in front of, like, 20 main characters, then having his arc ending with him talking and looking at a random guy at a bar at the end to pat yourselves on the back and say you have LGBTQ characters. Vicky and Robin weren't even together in the ending. What happened to them? They didn't get their Enzo's date. But hey, at least they gave us a random 11 kiss that came out of nowhere because there was no build-up to their romantic relationship, and I, along with many others, thought that the two had broken up and were platonic by then. Holy shit, I'm a yapper. God. The only positive thing was Lumax being untouched, but probably because the writers, as usual, forgot about Lucas and were too busy with the Netflix commercials and brand deals to truly give any of the main characters arcs or development. In capitals, mostly my Shayla Jonathan. I'm honestly more disappointed than mad. I am a bit mad, I'll admit, but that's probably obvious by now. The show is about people that were different and misunderstood in a decade that was judgy. Queer people, black people, single/divorced parents, antisocial people, just people that were outside the social norms of the time. Yet the show caters to the people that, let's be honest, would have bullied and teased the characters if they had the chance to meet them in person. This could potentially be worse than the Umbrella Academy ending and Game of Thrones because Stranger Things had potential the whole time and was wasted and used the last 3 episodes to trick the audience, add a plot twist, change the logic/world building, make the main character, a groomer, murderer, and monster, seem like a victim. I guess this is what happens when a show gets too popular, but I'm ending this rant on a somewhat good and positive note. Dear AO3 writers, please write fix of what you would do to fix season 5. I don't even need Byler canon. It would be nice, but give me somewhat fully written and developed characters, relationships, give us stakes, and character deaths, give us consequences and teamwork, and a breakup that actually sounds like a breakup. I don't need to read an article to find out it was a breakup. Holy fucking shit, I'm looking at the recording and it's been like 6 minutes. I don't have my water! But Jesus Christ, I'm a yapper, so let's get into that because I feel like my thoughts are all over the place, but I'm gonna get into detail. First, obviously, if you've been around for my sort of series, if that's what I'm gonna call it, you'll know that I had somewhat high expectations. I'll be real. I had no idea how the hell they were gonna kill Vecna because he's strong as hell. Like, no offense, but I did not think that 11 could do this alone. I thought she would need Will and Callie and the whole party to help. Because it's a huge cast. Like, why couldn't they help? Like, picture this. I was expecting Elle, Will, and Callie against Vecna himself with their powers, while the party is against the monsters with their weapons. It was a bit like that, I guess, because the party was fighting the spider thing. And I had a feeling they were going to try and make Vecna this misunderstood villain. And I got nothing against this at all. Like, I love complex characters. Like, my favorite character is Loki from Marvel, so. And also, Wanda. So yeah, I get having a sort of villain and them being misunderstood. But two major things. One, there was no fucking build-up whatsoever. And I don't know, I wasn't a fan of it being like a whole twist at the last 5 minutes. Oh no, he's a victim, oh no. And it felt like such a random thing to do, especially with making Will forgive him so quickly and easily, because despite what happened to Henry/Vecna, that is Will's abuser. That's Eleven's abuser. Let's be honest, he was shitty to everyone in Hawkins. Because it's a clear allegory. I apologize if I'm saying that word wrong, but you know what I mean, for S.A. I don't know, it didn't feel like it was done right, if that makes sense. I feel like it would have been a little bit better if I learned more about Henry's backstory. Because in the show, it's interesting, but we don't get much. And I'm sure the stage play showed much, much more that the writers could not fit in, but they couldn't cut like 10 minutes of the epilogue and show a little bit of Henry's life. And no offense, but what was the point in making a stage play if you're not going to add it in the show? I don't know how to describe it, but I'm going to try. With the finale, it felt like they just wasted the first hour. Like, the final battle was supposed to be epic. Like, the whole freaking show has been leading to the final battle against our bad guy. And now, obviously, the bad guy has changed over the seasons, but ever since season 4, I feel like me and maybe many, many others were, like, waiting for Vecna to get his ass beat and murdered. It just happened so quickly. Like, I was not expecting the epilogue to be, like, an hour, 40-something minutes. I felt like the epilogue could have just been 15. And the weirdest thing for me was I did not give a shit about the epilogue. Like, the epilogue happened, and I literally groaned. The epilogue happened, and I was just like, ugh. Because I wanted to know what else happens in that timeline. What's happening in the 1987. I don't care about the graduation yet. I want to know what happens right after they kill Vecna. What do they do next? And what happened to the fucking military? I feel like the epilogue also was just really disappointing because all the characters just were not used to their full potential. And I'm sorry, but what is the fucking point of bringing Callie back if you're not gonna do anything with her character? All she was used for, technically speaking, was for being kind of a bitch. Like, people did not like her. Fans didn't like her. Hopper didn't like her. I don't think Mike liked her, but Mike doesn't really like anyone. And then she just used her illusion powers to trick the audience. I freaking loved Callie. I really liked her in that one episode in season 2. I didn't think it was the best episode, obviously, but I was really interested in Callie because I was like, that's interesting. She escaped the lab. What happened? She had so much potential, and it was just a nothing burger character. And I didn't even feel sad when she died. I was just disappointed. I was just annoyed. I was like, what was the point of bringing her? What was the point? And this is kind of specific, and it doesn't annoy me that much. I was ready for Steve to die. Like, I feel like I was pretty sure he was going to die. In my predictions, I made it clear that I thought either Steve or Jonathan or both were going to die. That was a huge thing. But nope. Literally, the second Jonathan caught Steve in that tower, I just knew not a single main character was going to bite the dust. And I hated that. Not even Ted. Not even Mr. Clark. Just a couple soldiers and Callie. How am I supposed to feel suspense or the stakes of the show when everyone is safe and no one's in danger? How am I supposed to be nervous for the final battle if everyone survives? And I've mentioned this a few times, but again, I'm going to get into more detail. The fuck-ass military. What the hell happened to them? They saw Elle die and thought, oh well, let's go home. And they left. Not a single consequence. No jail. No nothing. Not even death. And it just annoyed me because they caused so much pain. But that Dr. K cunt, fucking hell, I hate her. Again, a nothing burger character. Like, that one guy with his face ripped off, he had more character, emotion, and depth than Dr. K did. It just annoys me because what they did to those pregnant women and the babies, what they did to Callie and Elle and Hopper and basically everyone, they're just off the hook. They're okay. Nothing bad happens to them. And this annoys me specifically because in the past, the military or the lab people, sort of, they've somewhat faced consequences. By that I mean they've died. Like in season 1, Elle made their eyes bleed out, and the Demogorgon killed Papa. In season 2, the Demodogs and Demogorgons things ate a bunch of people in the lab as well. Season 3, I cannot fucking remember, but the Russians exploded or something. Season 4, a lot of the lab people got shot by the military. See what I mean? Like, I'm not insane about this. Not like the military and lab people have never just gotten off the hook, right? And believe it or not, before the finale even came out, I was going to make a video talking about how I wasn't a fan of the queer characters. But now the finale came out, I can talk about it better now. And I'm going to talk about it right here. Will. My boy. He just flirts with a random guy at the end, like one of those Disney movies where they have their first gay character. And Robin and Vicky's relationship was just not at all in the epilogue. 45 fucking minutes. The epilogue was like 45 minutes and they couldn't show them at Enzo's at a table. And I was so confused as well why they made Robin dress more feminine. I feel like I haven't seen anyone talk about it, but does she look more feminine or is it just me? Obviously it's the hair. The hair's different. I thought it was really cute, but that's just because I love Maya Hawke and I'm in love with her. But I don't know, it was odd. I feel like she got straightened. Pun intended. Again, I could make a whole video on so many other of the queer characters we have, like Billy, Tommy, Murray, Eddie. And you're probably wondering, what the fuck do you mean? Well, I'll get into it a little more. So basically, Billy and Murray, they're headcanoned as gay. Like, I feel like that's kind of a huge thing with Billy, that everyone's like, oh, he's just a sad gay boy, and it has internalized homophobia. Potentially. Still a racist asshole, so I'm never going to defend him for that. With Murray, I feel like he just acts gay, and his thing with Alexei was kind of... Same with his thing with Mr. Clark. I sensed something with him and Mr. Clark. Tommy is headcanon to have had a crush on Steve in season 1 by the actor. I'm so sorry, I cannot remember the actor's name. But I mean no hate to the actor. He's an actor, that's playing a character, he can do make whatever headcanons he wants. I just don't like how they made it canon for the sake of it and putting no work into it. The writers, I mean. The writers, directors. I know it was just a headcanon by the actor, but I've searched queer characters in Stranger Things and Tommy popped up. So he's gay online, but not in the show. And for Eddie, this could either be a coincidence or a really fucking stupid thing they added just to add it. But Eddie had a black bandana in his pocket, which was a code gay men in the 80s would do to show their kinks and basically that they're gay. I cannot remember the specific stuff, but I'll show a picture of what it is. So, yeah, great representation. 10 out of fucking 10. And obviously with Robin and Vicky, don't worry, I didn't forget about them. It's just that all they do is they kiss and they hold hands and they whisper in each other's ears. They're the only somewhat canon characters after Will, of course, but again, I feel like I already talked about them. I'm going to talk about them more, actually. I'm not a fan of what they did with Robin and Vicky because it's stupid. What was the point in adding them if you weren't going to either make them endgame, make one of them die, or just do something? It was a nothing relationship. Plus, we didn't see much of them. I didn't see how they got together. I would have loved to see how they got together and gone a little bit more into their relationship. Anyway, back to characters. Why add so many characters this season if you haven't given the ones that have been here since the beginning arcs or development? Jonathan, Mike, Lucas, and Joyce, they've been around since day one, and many could say that all of them or one of them are like the hearts of the show. But basically, those specific characters, ironically enough, have nothing to do in season 5, apparently. They're basically irrelevant to the story. But there were just so many questions that never got answered, and I hate it. Because there's a huge, huge difference in leaving stuff up for interpretation and not explaining plot points. Like, why was Will chosen in season 1? Was it just because he was a weak child? Why not any other members of the party? Or another child? And where did Susie go? Like, what happened with her and Dustin? And why did Elle recognize Will in season 1 in the picture? Why did Jonathan check Lonnie's car trunk specifically? Seriously, why did Vecna get killed so easily? He got pushed into a spike and his head was chopped off. In season 4, he was shot at a bunch of times, set on fire, and pushed down a couple stories, and he was completely fine and snatched. And this is kind of random, and I feel like I could be biased because I truly, really don't like the little children. Yeah, I'm probably just biased because I hate kids. Other than my cousins, my dears, if you're watching this, I love you guys. I love you, all of you. But I feel like the kids got too much screen time. Don't get me wrong, Holly's actress did amazing, Derek's actor amazing, all the actors, I think they did really good, and I feel like they probably had a lot of fun filming that. Like, imagine how fun it would be to film that. But it felt like every 5 minutes there would be like a 10-minute thing with the kids. When they were playing D&D at the end, the only reason that I thought it was kind of cool was because it was a full circle thing and nostalgia purposes. But that was it. I don't know these kids. I don't give a shit about them, honestly. And the main sort of thing, I guess. Elle, 11, Jane, my girl. I felt so emotional this season for the wrong reasons. Especially for her in the finale. I'll go from smaller things to bigger. My small issue is her fashion. And this is not the character's fault, obviously. This is the writers, directors, costume people, whatever. They couldn't dress her in something she'd like. The whole time, like, I know this is so small, it's, like, not even an issue, but her entire life, she's never had a chance to dress how she likes. Basically her entire life. In season 3, she had a chance, and that was it, and a little bit of season 4. But even in season 4, the woman that was doing the outfits said how she's supposed to look like Will, but feminine. She can't even have one fucking season where it's just Elle's outfits, not after Will, not after Hopper or Mike or Papa, just her. Like, in season 5, she got an outfit that was a reference to the Goonies and a wetsuit. That was it. And I know this stuff takes, like, in the span of a week, and they don't have many outfits. But even her hair was bland. We didn't even really get to see the full length of it that much. And again, I know, there's bigger things to deal with than her clothes, but it's the last season. She's in hiding. Why can't she dress how she wants? I wish they showed her relationship with Nancy, because I was rewatching season 1, and that poor little girl, she wanted a family. She wanted a sister. She wanted a decent dad and a mom and egos. She didn't want a boyfriend. She didn't want to be a superhero. She didn't want to die. And now the bigger thing, I suppose, that I disliked is the way that it built up to her sacrificing herself. Because I mentioned in my videos, I was 99.9% sure she was going to sacrifice herself. But the way it was written was weird. Like, they wrote it with Callie telling Elle that they should do it. Like, it felt like it took away from what could have been a great ending. Like, they spoiled it, sort of. Like, they could have not mentioned them having that plan, and it just shows them doing that at the end. I feel like that would have been fine. I get that now in Netflix they like to do a thing where they say out loud and visually show their plans because people are, like, on their phone while they're watching the show. But I assure you, I can say at least, we are not that stupid. I get it. To break the cycle, they need to disappear. It would have been more sad if it was Elle's idea at the end, but not Callie pressuring her, and then the fake out. I'm sorry, but the fucking fake out death annoyed the hell out of me. She lives alone by a waterfall in a random town. don't get me wrong, I'm happy my girl's not dead, but now she's alone. You know what I think they're gonna do? I think they're gonna make a spin-off or a movie or something about 11 marrying some guy and having a daughter, because I feel like there was an emphasis on her having a daughter. And maybe that is just a thing because the actress herself, Millie, had a daughter. Congratulations, by the way, Millie. So happy for you. But I don't know, like, I feel like they're just gonna keep the show going and going and going because 11 is gonna have a daughter and the daughter's gonna have powers or something. I know they're obviously going to give the show a shit ton of spin-offs and sequels and movies. It just makes me sad that the show had such an empty and dull ending with some dick jokes, a boring final battle, fake deaths, and everyone just sort of happy at the end. Like, also, I felt like there was no friendships. Barely any friendships. Will and Mike, Steven, Robin, Max and Elle, literally no dynamics that were really loved. What the hell? So now, I'm gonna mention Byler. So if you're one of those bitches that's been talking shit about Byler now that it's not canon, you can get fucked. Goodbye. I'm fine with people not shipping it, but I'm not fine with bullies. Now, anyway, I've always loved Byler. Since season 2, Crazy Together, Mike's soft little voice that he only does when he's speaking to Will, being the only one to touch Will when he had his now memories, covering his ears when he heard Will screaming, and season 3 was showing more of Mike's internalized homophobia because now he had 11 and he wanted to feel normal, but despite all that he still cared more about Will. He literally got broken up with Elle, didn't really care that much. He was upset, but he wasn't like trying to fix it. When Will was upset with him, he literally went knocking on his door. And in season 4, the Ringomania fight, the yellow and blue colors, the painting, the van scene. Mike finally telling Elle what she wanted to hear after Will basically begged him to. I was hooked, and it felt so close, and I feel like the way I'm saying it definitely makes people think, hey, that could happen, right? But obviously, it didn't. I don't think some people truly understood how much Byler meant to fans and to the queer community in general. And people sure as hell don't understand the hate and dehumanizing comments and straight up bullying and homophobic shit that so many people got back in the day. I'm going to say back in the day even though it was a couple months ago, but the amount of shit that we got for liking a ship and believing in Byler. A fictional ship, by the way. Fictional characters in a fictional universe. I would have been fine if Will got rejected if it was done right, but the writers did this on purpose. I know they did, obviously. Obviously they did. They fed into our love for the ship and our theories, and at the end, we finally were hoping we'd get somewhere. They strung us along for the most, not offensive, but just done horribly thing. It literally could have been, you think we can still be friends? Best friends. It could have been that. But no, even at the fucking last scene we got with them, they tried to make us have a little bit of hope. I just wish that they showed us that Byler wasn't going to happen seasons ago. And season 4 would have been the perfect opportunity to show us, oh, Byler's not going to happen, sorry. But they just that they made it clear that Mike liked 11. Not even loved, just liked or something. But no, they strung us along for profit. Now, so many Byler fans are being treated like shit and they feel like idiots. But if you're a Byler fan here, if you're a Byler fan, let me hold your hand when I say this. You're not an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're not stupid. You're not delusional or any other horrible insult that toxic Malevolent fans have told you. There was so much evidence. Like, there was hours of videos. A lawyer, may I remind you, a lawyer talked to you, told you, oh yeah, this makes so much sense, and shipped it himself. So no, you are not delusional for believing that. The writers either were going to make Byler happen, but Netflix or some other thing got in the way, or they just strung us along the whole entire time. because they want to make more money off of the queer community. But I'm gonna say this, let's be real. If Will was a girl, and I know Byler fans say that a lot, but it's the fucking truth. If Will was a girl, Byler probably would have happened, and it probably would have been a bigger ship than Maleven. Sorry, that got emotional really quick. But I'm gonna go into a more fun and less sad segment right now. Let's call it right now how many spin-offs they're gonna do to milk the hell out of this Netflix cash cow. Yeah? I already have a few in my little head. Like, obviously, I feel like there's gonna be a spin-off with the brats. I need to stop calling them brats, I'm sorry, with the kids. Like Holly, Derek, Brenda? I feel like Brenda was her name, but I don't know. But Holly and the other kids, with them playing D&D or their own little adventures, or it could potentially be like a Fantastic Four thing where they have powers because they were in the abyss for a couple days. And definitely a series or movie where the cast comes back a couple years later. I'm not sure what they would do though. Like, what the hell would they do now that the supernatural shit's gone? Like, look for 11, find 11. And predicting that 11 has a kid and marries some guy, and the daughter of 11 has powers. I don't know why, but I just feel like that's gonna happen. And, you know what? A prequel show, potentially, of Hopper and Joyce, like their sort of love story, romance, whatever. I feel like that's the only thing I'll, like, sort of be like, that'd be kind of cool. Like, a little bit like the stage play, but more focused on Hopper and Joyce, and potentially Karen and Ted and Lonnie. And I already know they're making an animated series thing about, like, what happened at the end of season 2 and before season 3. But if any of my spin-offs are correct in the future, that'll be so funny, and I demand credit for that. But I think I'm done with this rant, so it's gonna be probably my last Stranger Things video. But thanks to the people that have been here since I made my first Stranger Things video like a month or 2 ago. It's been a fun ride with you guys. And don't worry, I have so many other videos planned, obviously not about Stranger Things, but about other fandoms of mine and fun stuff like Scream. I'm definitely going to talk about Scream because I fucking love that movie so much. But yeah, like, keep your head up. I'm sure there's some other fun shows that are going to get our attention. And I'm personally kind of excited to make a video that's not Stranger Things related. So, yay! Thanks for watching and stay safe.